That's a lot. That's a lot of work.
The state of Washington launches a police use of force database aimed at increased transparency. What Sheriff John Knowles is saying about it.
Hot and sunny is the name of the game as temperatures soar to near 90 degrees by the weekend.
If that is what actually happens, this has the potential to do really great things for our city.
Less than 2 months after the state Supreme Court struck down Spokane's anti-camping initiative, the Spokane City Council starts working on its own version. What happened tonight? Good evening and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. First up tonight, homelessness, once again a top priority for the Spokane City Council. Tonight, they introduced a new version of the voter-approved Proposition 1. That's the anti-camping ordinance struck down by the state Supreme Court back in April. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy went to the meeting to hear from community members both for and against it becoming law. Connor?
Well, City Council members are looking at a new version of an ordinance with some already existing history here in Spokane. After they voted down Prop 1 in April, they're looking at another version some community members say will be a better option for the city. The hot-button topic at tonight's City Council meeting was the newly written version of Proposition 1. Attendee Sasha Mawhinney takes the topic to heart as she's pursuing her MSW degree at Eastern Washington University.
To successfully address homelessness in cities, you really have to address it from compassionately with regard to the public safety and also address these root causes.
Mawhinney's one of several people who shared their thoughts on the ordinance. In 2023, voters overwhelmingly approved Proposition 1, but in April, the state Supreme Court struck it down, saying it exceeded the scope of local initiative power. Days later, City Council also voted down Prop 1 and went back to the drawing board. Fast forward to now, Council presented a revised version which includes a 7-day period for the person to get connected to services they may need. That legislation is now proposed and amended by the Council. The addition was met with opposition by Spokane attorney Richard Repp. He says the changed language to Prop 1 will weaken the law's strength.
The idea of a 7-day pass on camping, that's crazy. It's crazy on its face. It should be embarrassing that we're even having that part of the legislation that's being considered.
It's a factor Council President Betsy Wilkerson says needs to be considered. She says the city of Spokane offers resources in drug rehabilitation and mental health that other areas don't, making it harder for some people to access them.
We are the central location for services. People live in the state of Washington. There is nowhere else for them to go but to come to Spokane.
As Council is looking into the new version, Mawhinney hopes to see it become law.
Our biggest concern is just to see how it'll be implemented and enforced in real life.
Council didn't vote on this ordinance tonight. It was simply a first reading. To hear community members' reaction to it, we'll continue following Prop 1 and its language as it develops. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
All right, Connor, thank you very much. Fires are burning all across Canada tonight as people evacuate their homes and communities. The Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Center says nearly 3.5 million acres have burned across Canada so far. Manitoba urged 17,000 people to evacuate due to the fires in the province's remote north. Meantime, in Alberta, there are almost 50 active fires. There are more than 20 active fires in Manitoba and more than 15 in Saskatchewan. The outbreak of fires due to unusually hot and dry conditions. Millions of acres of tinder-dry forest and bushland went up in flames. In response to those massive wildfires, the Idaho Department of Land sent reinforcements to help. IDL says wildfires know no borders, and neither does their commitment to helping their Canadian neighbors. New tonight, we have learned the Hatway fire near Lewiston is now fully contained tonight. That update from IDL came just hours ago. In all, that fire burned about 250 acres and a small outbuilding, but no homes were lost. The cause of that fire remains unknown. However, we now know humans likely caused the Second Creek fire burning just north of Leavenworth, but fire investigators are still trying to figure out exactly how it started. Officials say the fire has burned about 80 acres so far. It's now 77% contained. And a burn ban is now in effect in Grant County tonight. That started just yesterday, and it will last all the way through summer until September 30th. The Grant County Fire Marshal says if you start a fire and it gets out of control, you would be responsible. On that note, let's take our first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. He is joining us in the Outdoor Weather Center tonight. Jeremy, a beautiful start to our work week. How's the rest of the week shaping up?
Oh, it's only sunnier and only hotter from here. Seriously, we sit in the 60s this late at night. It is a warm one out there, especially after only climbing up to about 70 degrees earlier today. Quite a bit warmer than we typically are at this time at night, but by now our average low temperature is right around 50 degrees. And with clear skies and calm winds, we're likely going to get colder than that as we slowly build in a ridge of high pressure that sits off the coast. That ridge will make its way toward us. It takes a couple of days to set in, but each and every day we warm up as it moves closer. Tomorrow morning, waking up to temps in the mid to upper 40s, 39 in Deer Park, so it is a little cooler than this morning, but not quite as cold as it has been in recent weeks. Tomorrow, we're back in the mid 70s, up near 80 out in central Washington, and then those temperatures just keep climbing. Tomorrow, warmer, sunnier than today. Thursday, even warmer, 78 degrees, and by Wednesday, 78 degrees. By Thursday, we're back up in the 80s and climbing as we head into the weekend.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the broadcast. Now it's time for our Night Beat with a quick look at today's top stories. Washington has a new database tracking police use of force across the state. Take a look. This is the newly launched Washington Data Exchange for Public Safety, or WADEPS. Right now there's no data. WADEPS is still onboarding law enforcement to submit their use of force numbers. Spokane County Sheriff John Knowles says he is supportive of the idea of making the information easily accessible. The sheriff's office already automatically tracks some of that data, he said. WADEPS will publish, but he says it will take an extra effort to manually look up some of the information, and added expense and manpower he says his office just doesn't have.
This is going to be somebody's job that we're going to have to give to them that, well, they've already got a full-time job. And now there's going to be all these data entry points on, probably a couple hundred uses of force a year that we're going to have to report out on. That's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Agencies will be required to submit use of force data starting in September. The Department of Homeland Security's list of sanctuary jurisdictions is no longer on its website. That list was posted online last week and received widespread criticism. The published list said each jurisdiction named would receive a formal notice by mail. Every county in Washington except for 4 were included on that list as a sanctuary city, and that included Spokane County. Meantime, in Idaho, only the city of Boise was on that list. A man arrested over the weekend for a drive-by shooting faced a judge today. Police say 32-year-old Zachary Gring shot at a house and a car in northeast Spokane on Saturday, belonging to someone he was having a relationship with. Later that afternoon, police say they pulled over that car, and 2 people ran from them. They eventually found and arrested Gring and 26-year-old Allie Alderson. Both of them were booked into the Spokane County Jail on charges of drive-by shooting. Gring was ordered to be held on $50,000 bail. And that was your Night Beat. For more information on any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Still ahead on KREM 2 News, new details tonight about that firebomb attack on a Jewish community group in Colorado. The latest in just 90 seconds.